Anybody know it? Yeah. Okay, you ready? Yep. Let's go. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountain side, let freedom ring. Go Beckies! Okay, so 2024 Kansas Senate District 37 candidate. She was a public school counselor for more than 30 years. Born and raised in Salina, Sherry has called Olathe home since 1992, and I'm going to hand it over. Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Pretty good? I'm used to kind of having a big mouth. Well, hello everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. A Foxtrot Delta Tango welcome to all the incredible democracy warriors in the crowd. Your presence is powerful, guys. You are the living example of what it means to show up, speak out, and stand for what matters. The turnout is truly inspiring. I can't wait for you to hear from some more amazing speakers. They're not just leaders, they're my friends, my mentors, and my greatest sources of encouragement through all of this. I am Sherry Giebler, a lifelong educator, public school counselor with 32 years of experience, retired in 2023. Sitting on my porch, drinking hot chocolate, reading books, then I remembered that public education and mental health is severely under attack. I knew I couldn't stand by, so I decided to run for the 2024 Kansas Senate in District 37. I am not a career politician. I'm a citizen who saw the voices that were ignored in a district shaped by partisan gerrymandering. Despite the challenges, I was honored to earn 15,413 votes, each one a testament to the trust and faith my constituents placed in me. That support severely humbles me and strengthens my resolve. Throughout my campaign, I personally knocked on 5,000 doors. I blew through 2 pairs of flip-flops that summer, listening to the concerns of our community. One message was clear, guys. Kansas public schools are the foundation of strong citizens, a thriving democracy, and opportunities for all. I remain committed to ensuring that every student, family, and educator has the support they need to succeed. I am here today with you as well for the future of Kansas. Today and together we can continue to fight for quality education, mental health resources, and a government that truly represents the people. I know I am preaching to the choir. Project 2025 is a hot mess for education. It is a policy initiative led by the Heritage Foundation, boo, aiming to reshape the federal government. Its impact on public education is very, very significant. One of their core goals is to dismantle or drastically reduce the role of the Department of Education. It is said that they want to be controlled at the state and local level by reducing federal oversight and funding. But really what this means, everyone, is we are going to get rid of the guardrails that allow for an equitable and functioning society that actually lives up to its ideals and the things we have enshrined in our Constitution. You're going to hear a lot from our senators at the state and federal level. They're going to talk a lot about competition is good. My question is, do other nonprofit public good services like the fire department or police departments, do they have to have competition? No, they don't. This ideology of competition will drive better outcomes. Okay. This ideology of competition will drive better outcomes is nonsense. We're for democracy. We're for democracy. We are 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 for democracy.
Project 2025 and the hot mess it's going to bring to us. We know that Project 2025 strongly supports school choice, charter schools, and private school vouchers. The privatization of education. It is going to drain money from our public schools as taxpayer funds are redirected to private and religious schools through vouchers and educational savings accounts. It is going to lack accountability as private schools and charter programs do not have the same transparency requirements as public schools. Private schools don't have to accept the same students. They don't have to take the same tests. They do not have to follow the same rules as public schools. Private schools should not have access to taxpayer dollars for a voucher scam. Thank you. Remember, you do not choose the school, private schools choose you. It is going to restrict curriculum and add censorship. It is going to promote a conservative overhaul of school curricula, emphasizing patriotic education while opposing what it calls, y'all know this word, woke indoctrination. I worked at a middle school, and if I was indoctrinating, it would be to please turn in your work, take a shower with soap, and stop TikTok dancing during my instruction. Attacks on teachers and unions will also be part of Project 2025. Increase religious influence in public schools. So my conclusion is Project 2025 is a hot damn no. It is going to undermine public education by cutting funding, increasing privatization, restricting curriculum, weakening unions, and introducing religious influence. So everybody, let's teach truth, not tyranny, and hell no to Project 2025.
Nikki McDonald serves in the Kansas House of Representatives, representing portions of southern Olathe and Overland Park. She and her husband Patrick have lived in Olathe for 22 years, where they raised their 2 high school sons. Nikki's passion is public education advocacy. In that capacity, she works to ensure that our schools are properly funded and our students and educators have what they need for success. With the shenanigans Republicans have orchestrated here in Kansas at our Capitol building. Did you know that 9 out of 10 Kansas students attend public schools? Kansas students are worthy of our investment, and public dollars should go to public schools. However, Republicans seem determined to expand their voucher-type programs, sending taxpayer dollars to private schools. Their tax credit schemes not only take away public education dollars, but they funnel money into private schools that have little accountability and are not even required to accept all students. Many private schools discriminate against students with special needs, students who are LGBTQ, and students with behavioral issues. Taxpayers should not be subsidizing discrimination. It is important that we rise up and insist on legislators honoring their commitments to our children. Speaking of honoring commitments, Republicans say that they want all kids to read, but the truth of the matter is they just want their kids to read. Your kids are not their priority. Instead of listening to what these Republicans say, watch their actions, because their actions speak much louder than their words. If Republicans truly cared about literacy in Kansas, the budget would reflect that priority. But Republicans in the Kansas legislature have completely defunded all literacy initiatives in our state with their proposed budget. President Trump just issued a federal directive eliminating $22.6 million of pre-approved ESSER funds earmarked for literacy training in Kansas too. At this point, it looks like all literacy initiatives have been defunded in Kansas. Kids who can't read become adults who can't read. What are the job prospects for someone who can't read? repeatedly. Republicans shortchange our kids in our schools, leaving our teachers to do more with less resources. The K-12 education budget does not meet statutory financial obligations for special ed funding in our schools year after year. Unacceptable. Republicans are openly undermining our public schools with the bills they ran through the legislature. Republican extremist leaders are running the show here in the Capitol and in Congress, and there's a lack of political courage when it comes to any meaningful pushback on extremist leadership from within the Republican Party. But I have a prediction. There will be a reckoning at the ballot box. We must move from outrage to action. Being here today is a powerful step, but it's not enough. We must pull up our sleeves and put in the work. Tomorrow's leaders are here today. Do not wait for other people to come to your rescue. We are going to need to rescue ourselves. Volunteer for candidates who share our values. Donate generously to the people who run. Run for office yourself. I can tell you from experience that winning campaigns is not rocket science, but it is hard work. Are we afraid of hard work? I'm not saying you should not pay attention to federal politics, but you do need to focus on state and local politics as well. That is what impacts your day-to-day life in a more immediate way. National politics might be sexy to talk about, but state and local politics are where you can personally make a huge impact. So don't get distracted by shiny national politics. There are local elections this year. Let me ask you this. Do you know who is running for your school board this year? I represent Olathe and Blue Valley school districts. Each of these districts have 3 seats on the ballot this year. We have to be on the lookout for extremist groups like those book-banning Moms for Liberty types. Moms for Liberty already knows about these school board seats, and they will be promoting their own harmful candidates. Their candidates demonize teachers with baseless accusations of indoctrinating students. These book banners will attack our librarians and try to limit the books that are available in our school libraries. We're not having it. Moms for Liberty members are against a welcoming and inclusive environment for students, and they are distrustful of mental health services. So my assignment for each of you is this. You go to your county election office website and you look up who is running for your local school board. Better yet, call one of your school board members and ask them who is on the ballot this year. Ask what you can do to help candidates who share your values. Donate money to their campaigns and volunteer. And while you're looking that up, check out who's running for your city council. Did you know that Chris Kobach got his start on the Overland Park City Council? How did that work out? We don't need to wait until next year. We don't need to wait until next year's elections to make an impact on our communities, because the time for action is right now. My name is Nikki McDonald, and I am proud to be here today representing Southern Overland Park and Olathe. May we all remain undaunted as we unite to pull up our sleeves and put in the hard work, speaking to one voter at a time, ushering in a new era in our communities in Kansas and in the United States. May we make our children proud. Awesome. All right, next we have Tom Alonzo, I believe. Tom is Chair and Executive Director of Equality Kansas. He is a lifelong resident of Wyandotte County, KCK, and a 9-year veteran of the USAF. He worked for the IRS for 35 years, retiring in 2021, and he has been an LGBTQ plus activist and advocate for 10 years. Tom.
Good afternoon, Kansas. How are we? I want to start off, I don't have the trans pride flag, but I have the rainbow flag, and I want to say trans rights are human rights. Okay, as she said, I'm the chair and executive executive director of Equality Kansas, which was started in 2004 by Tom Witt, that brought everybody together in Kansas to make one LGBTQ plus community. We are here now for 21 years. Working in the state capitol, we have a lobbyist that's lobbying for the needs of the LGBTQ plus community. We have 9 chapters from Kansas City to Russell, all over Kansas. This year, the legislature has gone on a rabid hunt of persecution against the LGBTQ plus community each year. Instead of effectively addressing Medicaid expansion, water rights in western Kansas, the public school system, medical marijuana, creating a healthy and safe environment for children to grow up in and live their authentic lives. This is kind of hard for me. They haven't done anything for us. Why do we keep putting them in there? Okay, they are bullying, abusing, and tormenting transgender children, making a life miserable for transgender kids. I know people that are leaving our state. They shut down. This isn't any different than what the Nazis did in the 1930s. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear the word fascist. I don't like it either. My dad fought in World War II in the Pacific. But this is fascism. They're marginalizing a group that's already marginalized. So in the 1930s, the Nazis shut down our queer businesses, rounded up and arrested over 100,000 of us. 1,000 of us in the concentration camps, and 60% of us died. Don't think it can't happen here, because I didn't think this would happen. I want to end on one positive note, just to show you that there are a lot of people and a lot of organizations that support inclusion, diversity. Bad words, aren't they? Last 2023, Fort Leavenworth held the first Army-sanctioned Pride Day. The Commandant of the Command Staff College, Lieutenant General, that's 3 stars, Lieutenant General Milford Beagle Jr., keynote speaker, told us we're all included. We can't be successful without everybody included. Solidarity, resist, and power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people, right on. Thank you.
Okay, by the way, some people are saying they can't hear and that they're leaving because they can't hear. You can go march. That's awesome. This is the system we've got. We don't have a louder system. We're all volunteers. If somebody has a huge speaker for next time, let us know. But we appreciate the person who bought this equipment for this event. But please don't leave. Just use your voice and use your legs, and you can go march the Capitol grounds. You can go march down Kansas Avenue. We will do that as a group when we're done here. But we're doing the best we can, and we're really sorry about the folks who are further away. Oh, you can tune in live on our Facebook page, which is the Kansas 5051. Is it on the event page or on the actual? On the main Facebook, search Kansas 5051. Get on there, and we're live streaming it. All right. Next up is Representative Tobias Schlingensiepen. He grew up. I did it. He grew up in Topeka and is a proud graduate of Topeka Public Schools. Tobias has been a longtime advocate, serving in many leadership positions within the community. Most recently, he helped found Braided Haven, the first ever LGBTQ youth homeless shelter in Topeka.
Thank you all for being here today. After spending the last legislative session in a super minority, seeing all of you show up today makes it all worthwhile. I want to say something that's going to sound a bit crazy, but that is the Trump administration is the greatest DEI program that the United States has ever instituted. Because while we have allowed ourselves for too long to allow one group to be played off against another, now it is time to prove what's written on our coinage, e pluribus unum, of the many will become one. You know, I want to say just a couple words about the tariffs. How's your retirement portfolio looking these days? What are your prospects for affordable health care? Friends, this is the most dangerous moment in modern American history. The most dangerous moment in American history. This time the NSVs are not outside of our nation, they're inside our nation, and they're staging the largest bank robbery this nation has ever seen. It began years ago, not just with the Trump administration. Slice by slice, we have allowed politicians to take away our rights and to sell them out to foreign dictators. We've done this for a long time. We've supported banana republics, and now we want to be a super banana republic. Let me say this too. The tariffs are not only dangerous for the economy, they are dangerous from a national security point of view. Notice who they do not affect. Solely Putin's Russia. The bromance between Trump and Putin makes the man-crush Stalin had on Adolf Hitler look like a silly event. This is a dangerous moment, friends. This is a moment when a reckless dictator wants to throw this nation and the precious gift our founding fathers and mothers left us over the cliff. And we have to fight, we have to stand together, and we have to ensure that it doesn't happen. And when we've done that, we need to make sure that 80 years from now, we don't forget the lesson like we did this 80 years away from the war we fought to make sure that freedom would be dominant all around the globe. I want to tell you just a little bit about what Kansas is doing. You've seen a little spark of life from Chief Justice John Roberts, a little spark of life. A little spark of light. Many of us are hoping that the courts are going to save us. Well, let me tell you, in Kansas, we want to make Supreme Court justices electable like any politician. My respect to Wisconsin that said no to Elon Musk's $20 million. Judicial selection in Kansas is merit-based, and it works, and it's the pride of our state. We will not let anyone take it away from us. And I'll tell you why they're doing it. They're doing it for two reasons. The 2022 referendum that denied women health, that would have denied women health care rights, that's what they want to do again by filling the bench with so-called pro-life justices. And number two, what they want to do is to introduce vouchers, ruin our public schools, and give more money to those that already have it. If you want that for our state, don't show up to the primary in 2026. But if you want to defend our Supreme Court justices, a woman's right to health care, and our public schools, you better not only be there during the primary in 2026, you better show up for the general as well and send us reinforcements in this building. We are vastly outnumbered and we're doing the best we can, but we can't do it unless you elect people who are going to fight for you and fight for the values that we hold dear. We cannot do it alone in this house, but we are going to do our best to do it, but we can only do it with your support. Send us reinforcements. We need them. Change is going to come from below. It's not coming from above. And finally, let me just say this to any Christians who are out here. If you belong to churches that are pushing this Christian nationalist crap and making a mockery and an idol out of Christ and Christianity, shame on you. Light a fire under your pastors. If they are not out there caring for the poor and the sick and the rights of those who are struggling in our society, they are not Christian, period. The mainline Christians have been silent for too long, pretending that standing on the sidelines is somehow being faithful to Christ. Well, in this time of Lent, it's important to remember that Christ carried a cross to Calvary to speak truth to power and to show us what happens when we do not help each other and support each other. And if we can't get that message into our heads, well, by golly, we're in trouble, whether we're Christians, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, or people of no particular religious faith at all, people of spiritual values. We must now stand together and say no to the heresy, both religious and secular, in this nation and reclaim our country. Thank you.
The next person up is somebody that I am just thrilled to have here. And that's because she is a student. And she is here representing the youth as well as the Haskell Indian Nations University.
First and Sanga Enli Dito Gala, AJAZT Yuchi Hakeda, Haskell Indian Nations Fakasa Ditne. Good afternoon, my name is AJ, and I belong to the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin and the Yuchi Polecat Ceremonial Grounds of Oklahoma. I am currently in my third year of undergrad studying American Indian Studies at Haskell Indian Nations University, and I have been blessed with the opportunity to speak with you all today. The current administration has had Native American rights in mind since day one. On January 24th of 2017, only 4 days into his presidency, President Trump issued a presidential memorandum reversing the halt in starting the completion of the Dakota Access Pipeline. Regardless of concerns brought by tribal leaders, the Trump administration proceeded. This decision quickly solidified one thing to Indian country. To Donald Trump, Native Americans can only exist so long as our existence doesn't inconvenience his administration. Nearly 7 years later, this sentiment still rings true. On February 14, 2025, not even a month into his second term, President Trump signed Executive Order 14-2010, which implemented the Department of Government Efficiency. The so-called department, spearheaded by South African oligarch Elon Musk, slashed through an excess of federal departments, ensuing mass layoffs under the pretense of eliminating and exposing fraud, abuse, and waste. The impact of these layoffs was felt across the country, especially in the already underserved Indian country. Haskell Indian Nations, my university, was heavily impacted by these initial layoffs. Approximately 1/3 of our staff was let go, including faculty, coaches, staff, and more. Many, if not all, were informed in the middle of the workday via phone call. The impacted departments also consisted of the Indian Health Services, the Bureau of Indian Education, the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Despite all of this, many of these orders for firings have been rescinded, but the funding freeze is still in motion. This move was a direct attack on tribal sovereignty, and I, for one, am worried. These departments oversee functions and responsibilities that are key to successful tribal governance. However, these programs aren't just given to us because we are special, but rather a satisfaction met by the government to uphold our rights as sovereign nations. This administration and our government as a whole have both treaty and moral responsibilities to the tribes. These treaties are not just pieces of paper, but the groundwork for our continuation as nations. Tribal nations have been here for tens of thousands of years. And while the history between the tribes and the government is dark and twisted, it is also an example of the indigenous persistence and a refusal to give up our identities. It is due to the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors that our nation stands strong today. Every member of any tribal nation, federally recognized or not, has the determination of 1,000 ancestors coursing within them, and they are loud and more persistent than we are. However, the issues are not unique to the tribal community. Each community of underserved people faces similar challenges, and we all want solutions. Trump's Executive Order 13985, ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferences, is infecting us all. Approximately 70% of the American population fall under DEI. Yet conversations and language used regarding DEI push conservative rhetoric, condemning DEI as radicalism and left wokeness. There's little coverage on the true impact these EOs have on the American citizen, specifically the average student. These EOs have terminated grants and contracts related to DEI, limited state institutions' ability to provide equitable access to education, as well as the Trump administration threatening to pull funding from any higher ed institute that uses race as consideration for admissions, hiring, promotion, compensation, financial aid, scholarships, prizes, and administrative support, discipline, housing, graduation ceremonies, and all other aspects of student, academic, and campus life. That is a direct quote. With his permission, I would like to share the experience of my dear friend who is currently in the last semester of his biology degree at KU. He's a scholarship award winner, and due to his many scholarships, he has been able to pursue his degree. Despite this heavy course load, my friend has managed to balance both his education and social life. He's not only a member of, but also sits on the board for many organizations on campus, such as the Latin American Student Union and Phi Iota Alpha, the oldest Latino interest fraternity. Due to all of his accomplishments, this should be a time of celebration and preparation for med school. However, due to the DEI grant termination, his semester has now been tainted with the stress of being unable to afford his education in the home stretch. Stories like these are not unique to KU students, but are happening to all students of all backgrounds across the nation. Education is a basic human right. We all deserve the ability to better educate ourselves, and the Trump administration does not want to see this. This nation has existed for 248 years, and yet the education for all people is still being called into question. When will enough be enough? That's right. The best way for us to solve these issues is by uniting and not dividing like so many in this country desire to do. We must listen and uplift one another, ensuring all voices are heard. But this must be done throughout all levels of our society. We as citizens must do our due diligence to understand our fellow neighbors with different experiences of our own. We must learn from and teach one another, and our leaders must do their due diligence to not only hear, but to truly understand their constituents. Okay, jute ha, okay, afanta ah. Together we can move forward. Senle kiasata.
I'm Elise Flatland. Among the many things that I am a wife and a mother of 4. 2 of my children are transgender. When I look at my children, I don't just see brave and unique individuals. I see the future of this country. I see young people who deserve the right to grow up in a world that celebrates their humanity, not diminishes it. The fight for my children's right to live authentically is part of something much larger. It's a fight for our civil rights. The right for all of us to be who we are, to make personal decisions about our bodies, and to love who we choose. We are united in our shared humanity. Let's not just fight for one, let's fight for all. I am deeply concerned about our current political climate in the state of Kansas and across the country. We are watching as our government tries to strip away the rights of all minorities. In 2024, when the Kansas legislators put forth anti-trans legislation, I knew I had to fight for my family. With the support and encouragement of Representative Nikki McDonald, I submitted testimony and testified in front of the House committee. That year, the legislation failed by 2 out of 125 votes. That win was a warning. In 2025, 2025, I volunteered to be a lobbyist with Equality Kansas. I knew the votes were stacked against us, but I refused to go down without a fight. Through my work with so many great and amazing talented people, I learned valuable lessons. The most important thing I learned was to use my voice, which is a power each and every one of us have. This year, the ban on gender-affirming care for minors passed. This legislation caused harm to my family and families like mine in profound ways. It's not just about health care. When a government attacks a minority, parts of the public feel emboldened to attack the minority too. Middle school is hard enough as it is, but politicians questioning my child's identity has led to bullying and harassment. These politicians seek to make people question the right of our fellow human beings to simply exist. What is happening now is bigger than my children, bigger than the trans community. This is a broad attack on all our civil rights. The movement seeks to divide and break down the protections that have been fought for since the birth of our nation. This is a broad, concerted effort to erode the rights of women, people of color, immigrants, and the LGBTQ community. This is an attack on our very democracy. Our personal choices should never be up for political debate. They want to make us afraid to distract us while they burn our government and their institutions to the ground. We are stronger than fear. We are stronger than division. Our country was built on the belief that we are all equal and we are all entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right here, right now, this is a fight for those very principles. What can you do? You can show up. You can connect with your community through online groups, coffee groups, and even knitting groups. You can get involved in the places you can make the biggest impact. Local government. Get involved in your city, school board, and county decisions. Attend meetings, public hearings. Contact lawmakers. Show up for protests and rallies. The biggest step to advocacy is just showing up. When you show up, you make a difference. By working together, we can make our lawmakers more afraid of us than they are of Trump and his allies. When minorities unite, we become the majority. It's not just about strength in numbers. This is about compassion and justice. I believe in unity. I believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion. I believe we should never stop fighting for our civil rights. Let me be clear. We are better than this. Our country is better than this. The principles of freedom, equality, and justice were hard won, but they are worth fighting for now. We don't just fight for one, we're fighting for all.
Okay, we just have two more. Hang in there with us. And we're actually on schedule if you happen to see the schedule online. Sorry, it turned off. All right. The next person you really are going to want to hear about. This is Ann Perelkar. She's originally from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. She's a licensed attorney in Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas. And this is why you want to know who she is. After recognizing that our elected officials have no interest in serving the public, some of them, except the good ones who are here with us today, and their duty under the Constitution, she decided to begin the process to run for United States Senate next year against Marshall.
worth it. Thank you, Americans, for showing up, and thank you, patriots, for showing up. Thank you to the women and men who put this together. They have worked tirelessly. I have been privy to their conversations, and they have done amazing work. About a month ago, I went to the Oakley Town Hall in hopes of meeting our Senator, Roger Marshall, and expressing to him my concerns about the direction our country's headed in. I know a lot of us share those concerns, and as many of you probably know, he had no interest in hearing from any of us that day. He was there to give kudos to himself and this administration. He treated us, his voters, like unruly school children. He works for us. And then he left 37 minutes in to the 1 hour we were promised. And all this after he had just held a 2-day retreat for wealthy donors in Florida where he asked for between $3,000 and $5,000. Well, that day I learned all I needed to know about Roger Marshall, the senator. Number one, if you can't buy him, he doesn't care about you. And number two, he is no senator that our founding fathers would have elected. We all watched this week as this administration implemented tariffs on nations across the world, many of them our allies, telling us it'll be good for you. We watched then as our retirement accounts tanked in the days that followed that announcement. And as the millionaires and billionaires running this country told us don't complain, it's good for you, consume less and save more. Well, I don't know what they think we're consuming, but I heard Scott Bessent, one of the cabinet members, suggest one day that the American dream is not let them eat flat screens. Well, I'm not buying flat screens with my hard-earned money. I'm buying milk that costs me $4.99 a gallon, and I'm buying eggs that cost me $5.99 a gallon. And I bet Scott Bessent has way more flat screen TVs than I do. So I don't think that that's the problem. I don't think we are the problem. I don't think y'all are the problem. I think the problem is that they don't know anything about real people. We've also watched as our government and DOGE, they've attacked our systems. They said we don't have money for Social Security and Medicaid. That's wasteful. But they got no problem spending $26 million for our president to go play golf. $26 million since January 20th. And that's not even all of it. I read between $10 and $20 million to send him to the Super Bowl. Well, I've never been to the Super Bowl, and that was Archie's there. And then another $5 million to go to NASCAR. But you want to tell me that our Social Security and our Medicaid is too much? No, that's not how it works. In 1787, our founding fathers put in writing and signed their name to a document that ensured all of us the right to self-government. George Washington has been quoted as saying in part, "The power under the Constitution will always be in the people. It is entrusted for certain defined purposes for a limited time to representatives of their own choosing. Whenever it is executed contrary to their interests or not agreeable to their wishes, their servants can and undoubtedly will be recalled." Their servants. These are supposed to be public servants. The only power that they have is the power that we loan them.
use our public offices to enrich themselves with no concern for we the people. They mislead the public, they lie to the public, and they sow division among us. They highlight our differences instead of highlighting our commonalities. They have us fighting. Republicans versus Democrats. People of color versus non-people of color. Upper middle class versus lower. Rural versus urban. You name it. They put us into these categories. We may be those things, but that's not all we are. We are not divisible. Not by religion, not by socioeconomic status, not by skin color, not by political party. We are not divisible because we are Americans. Our enemies lie that we're fighting each other. They rejoice in our division. Russia loves it. They know what they're doing. A united America, they know, is unbreakable. It's undefeatable. A united America can do anything. Remember, the United States of America, we defeated the greatest military power in the world to win our independence and freedom. And we overcame all odds. And we did it because we are united. So today I say to you, let's look at what we have in common. Let's recognize that Americans, Kansans, are good. We are caring. We are hardworking. We are smart. We are brave. We are the harbingers of liberty and justice for all. And we will no longer allow them to divide us so they can use our seats of public service for their own benefit, ignoring the voices of we the people who have loaned them our power. Now, many of us have felt helpless and hopeless about the direction our country's headed in the past few months, while others among us don't seem to care or recognize the dire situation in which we find ourselves. And it is dire. And I know why. It's not because of any one of us. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Clap for our first responders. So some people don't seem to recognize the dire situation we find ourselves in, and it is dire. But I know why they don't. It's not because of us. It's because the people that are in places of authority, the people we're supposed to be able to trust, have taken advantage of our goodness and taken advantage of that trust. While they grow wealthier and sow division among us to line their own pockets, you and I struggle more and more each day. They must recognize that we do not approve of the attacks on our separation of powers, the attacks on our checks and balances that our founding fathers put in place to assure that this country never fell to tyranny. They must recognize that we do not approve of their mishandling of our government entities and systems that so many of us rely upon. Congress must know that we do not approve of their relinquishing power. The individual that needs help, thank you so much to the first responder for being here, and thank you to all of you for making sure they got over there okay. Congress has to know we don't approve of their relinquishing their power to the executive branch, and they have to know we don't approve of the disparaging of our independent judiciary. They must know that we the people are the government of the United States of America, and that we will not sit idly by while our rights are eroded and our Constitution is defiled. We the people must show them that we the people have the power, not any single one of them. As Senator Cory Booker said in his recent historic and record-breaking filibuster,
with this quote from Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address at a time when our country was very divided. Delivered in the aftermath of one of the most costly battles in American history, where more than 50,000 casualties occurred as Americans fought Americans, brothers fought brothers, that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth. It is time for a new birth, a recall, so that we the people reclaim and reestablish this government of the people, by the people, and for the people.